Here it is, our site plan that we just got back from the surveyor and the engineer. So basically, here's the full layout of the entire area that we will need to modify to match our grades, install our driveway, and prep for all of the proper grading and elevations for the home itself and the septic area in the leach field. So what we've been working on in a couple other videos that I've posted as well is the main entrance for the driveway that's coming in off of the road, which is to the left over here. I'll zoom in here. So this is what we've been bringing in, a ton of fill in this area. The grade drops off about 10 or 12 feet from the road, so we've been slowly filling in to bring it down to about a 10% grade, so that it's a gradual decline into the property. Right now it's a very steep, almost 45-degree angle that I'm driving the truck down to get in. That's okay for now, but in order to bring any other equipment or materials in, obviously we need to have that driveway finished so we can do our prep work and eventually get to bringing some stone and doing the concrete work for the home itself. So as I said, we've been just building up this mound here, bringing it down, and what it's going to do is actually come in and gradually kick to the left, which if you're looking at this direction, it's kicking up to northward, or to the top of the page here, and then it's going to follow along the drainage ditch line, which is at the upper portion. Hard to sort of make out, but it's drawn there. If you look at the upper left, it says there's a culvert, so there's a buried culvert up to the point that it becomes an open drainage ditch. So the driveway will follow along that, and what's really nice actually about this driveway is the southern side, or the bottom portion of the driveway, is actually a wood line that this follows along. So when you are driving down, it is a nice, it's a really cool feeling of driving, almost like you're driving through the woods and then along this drainage ditch, which at most time appears to be more like a creek. So it's a really cool entrance leading up to the house, which is set back about 450 feet till the beginning of the garage area. So we'll zoom over there. So the driveway comes in, and then again you'll take a right swing in to be able to enter the garage bays. And this is the layout of the house. It's a very generic layout. I'm going to do another video on the actual house plans, and then you'll be able to we'll walk through how I came up with the design, all the intricate details of it. But for now, pretty much with the site plan, you'll see that your driveway will swing into the garage. The entrance door will be basically between the home and the garage, so it'll be real nice setup. That area is going to be about 3-car wide garage plus a little bit, so it's definitely a large parking area. And you can notice right away that it is sort of a T-shaped house. Two of the wings, the north wing and the east wing, is actually bedrooms, bathrooms in the north wing. The east wing is more of the kitchen and living areas, and you can see where it's labeled garage to the west. And right behind the home is where we ended up designing our septic system and leach field. So that's all fully designed along with all the details on the site plan. How many leach lines we'll need. It looks like on here they are 60-foot leach lines, and I believe there's 4 leach lines, which was enough to distribute all of the water that will be coming clean out of the septic tank. So and the garage, there's actually not a lot of elevations we need to really change or grade out here. There's definitely some dozer work. Right where the house is going it's the highest portion of the surrounding area, which is great because you want the house set up a tiny bit so that the septic system works real well and uses gravity to its advantage. And the leach field is pretty much a foot or so below the home's elevation itself. But basically you can make out some of these contours that are here. That's what it needs to get to in order to place the house here. So we're going to do some cutting. I think it's no more than cutting down about a foot in some areas, maybe 2, but mostly about a foot reduction in elevation, and then also displacing some of that around to even it out and grade it out towards the leach fields. So it's not a whole ton of site work, which is great because that's where a lot of extra costs can come in. I do have the advantage of having some equipment myself, and also some friends that will also that own heavy machinery, bulldozers and excavators. So we'll be able to get this work done no problem. But also save ourselves from doing a ton of work because of the elevations are pretty much naturally very close to what we need. And we obviously take that into account. When the engineer is laying all this out, you know, he tries to do that. I mean, you could pick a place you want your house and say, that's where I want it, and they'll make it work, you know. But anytime you have the ability to use the natural surroundings to sort of minimize the amount of work, that's great. So in this particular situation, like I said, we're only cutting about 1 foot or so in some areas. And I've actually, what I'm going to do, and it's not necessarily drawn onto this site plan, but a little further out from the home and quite a ways away from the leach field itself, maybe another 100 feet or so in I think the western and southern direction. I'm actually going to create a swale to really keep any water that's sort of coming from the surrounding field and steer it away from the leach fields area, just so that during, you know, abnormally heavy rainfalls or a season that's really wet, I don't have any issues with that not leaching at all. I mean, obviously the engineer takes all this into account, but he did sort of say, you know, it certainly wouldn't hurt. And I do have a wet spot in the field that I showed in another one of our videos I uploaded, showing that wet spot. Actually, it's very, you know, it's far away from the home, but I don't want just standing water in the field if I can avoid it. So that swale we're going to kick around the leach field will actually drain some of that as well. We've started some of the work on the driveway being built, as I said before, off of the road. And then once we get that completed and we have enough fill to actually make the grade down to the bottom of the property, that's when we'll continue to build the rest of the driveway to the location of where the home's going to be. We're going to do some site work this summer, maybe towards the end of summer. We're going to, you know, keep uploading videos and show you all that work. So stay tuned and check out and look ahead for the next video I'm going to make. Will likely be going over the house plans and all those details, and it's a pretty cool layout. I spent about a year or so just sort of playing with the design and the layout of how I want everything, and I think we came up with something pretty cool. So go ahead and check that video out, and just stay tuned. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and go ahead and like this video, give it a thumbs up. It definitely goes a long way, and we appreciate you guys for following, and see you on the next video.